I just remember the conversation. I remember the write-up.
Well, he's not.
Okay.
No, I know.
I don't care.
Mics are
Oh,
on.
no, it is not, no, not him. Just pretty excited that I got my corner board today. The branch.
Drive down there and have a look.
It's been working on my sidewalks a little bit here and there. So.
Oh, they got your corner board?
Good, it's nice.
Can you get this water leak fixed tomorrow, then I can dry out and make it work on that corner.
Where's the water
I'm ready
leak?
for it all to be done and it.
Where's the water leak?
Back on 4th and Austin.
Right.
Right across from my house.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm gonna be at 9
East
o'clock,
or west or south?
South.
right straight south on the corner. I'm gonna be without water from 9 o'clock till who knows when tomorrow, and I was.
Don't stay home.
That's what I did last, but where am I gonna go?
I know
can
you
tell you
go
where
a
to
lot, just find a place.
That's what I said. What,
Do you have a spade?
do I have a spade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk across the street and help them. You'll know how soon it gets done.
I know. Last week, I went to Diana's and spent the afternoon up there. And I asked Kay, she was at the house, I said, do you need to go to Lincoln tomorrow? Yeah, but Steve may be going with me. I said, if he's not, let me know and I'll go.
Oh, yeah. At least get out of town. There you go.
There we go.
Calls me to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Fry,
Present.
Keating, Snellings,
Present.
Bikeman, Garacki,
Present.
Price,
Present.
Behrens,
Here.
Ron.
Here.
7. We have a quorum.
Okay. First up, we have the approval of minutes from the meeting on May 22nd, 2023.
Move approved regular minutes, May 22nd, 2023.
Second.
Okay, any changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 7-0. Next, we have the approval of minutes from the special meeting on June 1st, 2023.
Move approved special meeting minutes, June 1st, 2023 is written.
Second. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 7-0. Okay, next we have public comment. Is anybody here for public comment? Okay. Move on to business and discussion items. First, we have the Kester block.
Yeah, Cindy and I talked about this one day. What in the past has council been discussion of how do I want to word this? Make up the finances that are missing from the Kester block? Has there ever been discussion before on selling the properties, donating the properties, anything with the properties?
Not since I've.
Not really, no.
Because this is costing us a ton of money.
Every year.
So what's the answer?
Well, we hadn't raised them for, I think it was about 10 years.
Since 2012.
Yeah, and we raised them a little bit here.
$25.
Sure, yeah.
I will tell you before you start trying to sell these things off, since.
I'm not trying to sell them off, I'm just trying to figure out how you make it at least where you're breaking even and not
I
eating.
just have to
this amount of money.
preempt any of the conversation with, since we just spent state funding on the windows and the roof, that locks us in, and this is just bare minimum, conversation, locks us in for another 5 years. So probably this is year 1. But that's, and I'm assuming we'd get more state funding, but if we're lucky.
I'd like
Just clarification on that.
locks us into owning it, or just that it
Yes,
stays
we have to
historical?
main.
I would
no,
like
no, we-
clarification in writing on that.
Well, that's in our grant contract.
What-
That we maintain ownership for the next 5 years.
But what about, I mean, does it, just spitballing, what if we were to want a property manager or something?
That does not.
As long as
preclude
we
that.
are on the deed,
Yeah, no, we can do that.
At $1 for a year
Yeah.
on a lease, yeah.
All that
Okay,
stuff.
thank you.
Yes.
side question to that, is there is there a cloud on the deed or whatever that we can't, can we sell it?
That's a good question.
I'm not recommending it, I'm not necessarily on board with it, just, is that
So
even a
deed
thing?
restriction.
Yeah,
We
deed
can- we
restriction,
can
that's what I'm
look at
looking
that.
for.
We can
Yeah,
look for
we
that.
can look at that.
I don't know that answer.
I mean,
I
just
think-
I don't know that there is.
I've heard various things.
There's always been a perception that, the Kester family gave it to us and that we can't do anything with it. I don't think that's the case after doing their title research on it.
Oh, good.
No, and that's, those discussions are
Yeah.
well worth it.
And that's the problem, we get a lot of stuff gave to us. Here, it's yours, maintain
Yeah,
it.
and
We don't need any more.
the city should not be property owners
No.
for renters.
No.
That, in my opinion.
Well, and then if you look at the amount of dollars that go into this block every year,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, we put a lot of money in it.
we're not really making anything back.
No.
No, we're losing.
We are losing like outrageous amounts of money on this.
Well, and especially on reflections. We taxes and insurance is almost $13,000 a year, and we get $7,740 a year for a 6,000 square foot business. We get $620 a month, $1,750, $375 a month. $1,150, $300 a month. That $620 for 6,000 square feet is not even in line with anything.
I feel like there has to be a good resolution to this issue. I don't know what that resolution is, but
We need to bring in enough money that we can at least do repairs on the buildings, and that's the
well, that's
problem.
just it. And then, like you
Bring in
have
enough to
the
do that.
heaters at the museum go down, that's costing us,
I don't think you'd get away from the museum side of it.
which is fine, but you know
No.
what I mean? Like we don't have any, like you have some income coming in from these businesses, but it's not enough substantial to do anything.
What if we reached out to Marysville Main Street and said, hey, do you guys want to try to pursue some other avenues for economic development on this property here? I don't know, it's just a thought.
Yeah, and, I mean, short term, so, for one thing, we're kind of blessed to have generally good long-term renters.
Yes.
And that is, I mean, some of that we get because we charge maybe below market rate, but also keeps buildings occupied. Unoccupied buildings are problematic. To that end, I mean, I know there's been some discussion, but maximizing occupancy is a good short-term solution. I mean, the restaurant obviously has been vacant for a while, and I know that's not necessarily an easy nut to crack. We may have to get a little creative, but getting somebody back in there would be beneficial. And to me, one of my first things when I got on city council is why aren't we doing more with the amenities or the structures we have? So the second floor, the third floor, I know that's not easy either. When the State Historical Society representative was here and we toured through that, Austin was there. It pretty much, like a lot of these discussions, showed that we have more options to utilize that better than we may realize. Won't necessarily be easy, and it may not be something that the city needs to do. Personally, I think that's something that we need to hand off or grease the rails for a property manager or some other party that we can screen, of course, to take over and handle. Because there's more money that can be made off the property than currently is. And also, I agree with Jeff, I don't think we're the greatest landlords because that's just not what cities are.
So we shouldn't have to be, though.
No.
What would a property manager do?
In theory, they would find a way to answer some of the questions we can and have the flexibility to do it in ways we can't.
And then we're out of the picture.
And then, yeah, it takes it off of us.
So we pay a property manager to do it.
No, we don't pay them.
We,
No.
$1 a year or whatever,
They
we
pay
make an
a
arrangement.
lease on
They
it.
pay a lease on it.
We own it, so we still have a little bit of a control, and we should. I mean, that was the idea, I think, of the Kester family.
So do they pay the taxes and insurance then, or do we still?
No, we would own it.
So if we own it, we still have to come up with a way to come up with $30,000 worth of
I think
insurance.
it's a longer conversation to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
not
curious.
simple.
I had no idea how any of that worked.
Yeah, me neither. That's why I wondered.
I mean, it'd be great. This is not with the new tax rate either, so this year's taxes will be much higher than what these show. What these are? Because these were 22s, that's the last we had the actual bonus. And this year they took a pretty good hit on everybody, these two. The appraised value went up significantly, yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what'll happen. I don't know the answer.
Something to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Do we wanna have any committee meetings or anything like that, or what do you wanna?
Kester Block under.
Is it a park? Is it admin? What is it?
Yeah, what does that fall
Probably be
under?
under whatever, I mean,
Well,
ad hoc or-
I don't know. You could either do ad hoc or admin, finance, because you're trying to make a policy decision on a property. Would probably be your best bet.
We have an advisory committee, so I don't know if you want them
I
involved
don't think you
or
probably
not.
would need to.
I also think making sure that all the tenants are, if not directly involved, at least well-informed, because nothing like people thinking things are happening behind the scenes to get people up, ire up.
Because in the same meeting that I sat through the same meeting he did, there's a thought process of expanding the historical district downtown, because it gives an opportunity to people that are putting businesses in for some huge tax credits. And I don't think that's a city function. I mean, that's Main Street, and people gotta make that decision that they wanna be involved. It could be kind of a extensive process, but yet it could be really open up some doors for certain people to do better things.
It's,
You think about it, a building built in 1973 qualifies for that huge tax credit if you wanna fix it up. It's 50 years, you know?
Yeah, this one.
this building.
You could, honestly.
I don't wanna speak for the admin finance committee, cause I'm not on it, so.
I don't care.
Yeah.
We
that's
could do
fine.
that, we can do an ad hoc like they said, it doesn't bother me either way.
Let's start with admin and finance, then maybe do ad hoc.
Okay.
I mean,
All right, we'll go from there.
Parker, why are you smirking over there?
I'm not smirking, I'm just thinking another meeting.
how you love it.
All
Don't
right,
bother me.
Yeah.
move on to notices and hearings then.
This is like a 2-hour job every other Monday.
Yeah.
This is like a 30-hour job every week.
Part-time job.
Time job.
Hello.
Good
First up-
evening.
First up, we have Resolution 2023-17, 1208 May.
Okay, tonight we got Megan Woodyard's property. It is up on 1208 May Street. She's got metal, an old furnace, and everything laying in the backyard. I sent her a notice, the original notice, out on the 24th of April, and nothing has been done. It needs to be cleaned up badly, as you can see the pictures. So, asking you what we should do.
So they're past their time, correct?
Oh, way past their time.
So can we legally go in and clean it then?
No, you
Well,
gotta
they've
pass
got-
this
Pass
and
the
then 10 more days.
resolution. I know that, but after we pass the resolution, how many
Yes.
more days do we have to give them?
10 days.
10.
So it's actually by the time, it's the 22nd of June
Okay.
will be all of these, because if you pass them tonight, then all the nuisances is the 22nd of June.
What's our outcome been after we pass the resolution?
The past ones,
Yeah,
everybody but one.
okay.
That's cleaned up.
They've cleaned it up. Everybody but one
Well, that's
person.
not bad then.
No.
No.
It was huge.
Get going.
Huh? Yeah.
Move to approve resolution 2023-17.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
And then the next one is Edgar Huddleston, down on 301 Laramie Street. As you can see, the first one, that's it. It's not right to have those indoor kitchen cabinets out there in the yard. I've sent him a notice. He's not done nothing about it. He's moved a few things off the top of it, but that's it.
Move to approve resolution 2023-18.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
Okay, the next one is Kimberly Prothy. I sent it out on the 26th of April. I admit, I goofed up. But as I forgot to put exactly what was in there that she needed to clean up. But this is a resolution, I mean, as the code says, it's right below it. She's seen it, she's talked to me about it. And as you can see, there's really nothing been done.
When you talked to her about it, what did she say?
She called me and wanted to know right after I sent her the first one. And she called and wanted to know what was going on. I told her, I said, it needs to be cleaned up. Well, she said, well, that's my daughter's stuff, but I've been trying to get her to clean it up. Well, it's underneath of her name, the property is, all the water bill and everything's underneath of Kim's name. And she said she would work on it. Well, she's had 2 months and better. So,
Move to approve resolution 2023-19.
Second.
thank you on that one.
Any further discussion?
And,
Hold on.
What are we gonna vote?
okay,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 7-0.
okay, then we have one for Jenna Miller.
Right behind that one.
Yeah, it's right behind, across the alley. And I mean, if I remember right, she wouldn't even accept her letter.
Move to approve resolution 2023-20.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
She's also got
7-0.
stuff on her front porch.
Huh?
She's got a mattress or a box springs on her front porch with the thing flapping over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened after I took the last pictures. Okay, and then the last one is Austin Tillery. As you can see, the first pictures is a metal cabinet, and she's had a furnace, air conditioning unit out in the backyard. It's still there.
Move to approve resolution 2023-21.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
I thank you, people.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Robert.
Yep.
Keep the good work up.
I'm trying.
Will?
Hello.
Well,
Hello.
So,
Go for it.
okay, first up we have 1301 Calhoun. This is property owned by Raul, not sure how to say his name. Fluencio Cabaron, I believe. There's holes in the roof on this one. The windows, there's multiple of them that are cracked or missing the glass altogether. There's a crawl space spot where there's no covering on it at all. Everything's can go right underneath there. That back porch, how it's pulling away there, the foundation is caving, letting it drop down. This is definitely one that needs it. The garage has also got a bunch of holes in the back side of it there. The roof's not terrible on it, but it does have a tree on it and a power line on it, and hasn't been touched since the storm. So,
Do you have any idea when the last time this house was inhabited?
that I didn't check on this one.
It's looked pretty much like a time, like exactly like this as long as I've lived in town, so.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's probably lived there in a decade plus, more. Resolution, move to approve resolution 2023-22, condemnation 1301 Calhoun.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
Okay, the next one I got is 500 Jenkins Street. This is a house owned by Troy Carson. He's not in town at all here. He's a little harder to get a hold of.
It's been like that for 3 years.
Yeah, that front porch is really in bad shape. It has, it's fallen down. There's holes in the roof on this one. Windows are knocked out. There's been windows boarded up though. They just are covering to where you can't see in. You can actually still put your hand down underneath the polywood on them.
Move to approve resolution 2023-23.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
Next one I got is 502 Jenkins. It is the house right next door to there. It has the front porch pulling off on it. It's all cracked up, the concrete on the front. The front door looks like it's been knocked in a time or two, and the ram has not been replaced. There's holes there. You can go all the way around the house this way. When you get to the back side, there's wiring, indoor wiring that's just ran on the outside of the house on it. Should not be done that way. Window knocked out on this one also.
Move to approve resolution 2023-24.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
The last one I got for you guys tonight is 300 Calhoun Street. It's owned by Raymond Marquette. It's a house that he was wanting to tear down anyways at some point. Maybe not right this day, but front steps are breaking off. There's holes in the roof on this one, siding missing. The back porch is in bad shape. We got some concrete foundation spots that are cracked pretty good. Without going inside, I couldn't tell you how it looks on the inside. We got windowsills that are rotted out on it. The garage also has, it looks a lot like the house pretty well.
He does keep the property up.
He does do a really good job of keeping that up.
Does he know we have a grant available for demolition?
He does now. I talked to him on it again here. I talked to him for the plus the $5,000 for rebuilding, and I also talked to him and told him about the county having their incentive that's going on right now. So
Which is tax-free.
just giving him a little more incentive there. So
Because I know at one time he wanted to build back on that.
he does. He wants to tear it down and put up a joust.
If we go with condemnation, does that hurt his chances of coming in and? Nope. He can do all those things. He can still do it. Yep. Okay. Move file resolution 2023-25.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
I just don't wanna take somebody's right away from him.
Yes,
He wants to come in and file paperwork to. So he can do all those things? Okay.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
All right. Thank you guys.
Yep,
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks, Will.
All right, next we have convention tourism,
Consent agenda.
or consent agenda, yeah,
Can we pull out the convention and tourism?
if you want to.
Yes, please.
So make a,
Okay,
you make
so I got a
motion.
motion to approve
Motion.
the rest of it.
Move to approve consent agenda 2 through 4.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Right.
Do you want Mandy
Do you
to
want
come up?
Mandy to present?
I don't care.
a little bit? Okay.
I just have a problem when we've already spent $21,000 of spending another 1,872.
Yep, yep, I understand. Hello, thank you for letting me come up, I appreciate that. So, just to let you know, this is not the first funding place that I have stopped at for this. I looked for several other community grants, including like Casey's and Walmart and different things like that. Some of those places have already been, because MCAC is bringing in the big band that they're going to be presenting, and so they were engaged with a lot of those community partners already, so that was not an option. I did ask the Marysville Community Foundation, and as a tax paid by tax dollars, they didn't feel like this was something that they could support. And I'm telling you that because when I spoke to Jeff Christ about it, we had a couple of good conversations about it, and he made the comment that's just stuck with me. He says, I don't know about you, Mandy, but my wife, Maureen, is involved in a lot of things. And sometimes she wants just someone to pay someone to come in and take care of it. I am working a lot of extra hours for this event. We're expecting 2,500 to 3,500 people. The band, we're paying about $100,000 for this event in total, and that includes the awesome fireworks that we're going to have.
No.
Well, they being paid for this event. How's
Yes,
that?
just
Yes, I'm not
let's be
saying
clear
we.
on that. We are not paying.
Correct. Yes, I'm sorry. That was the mouse in my pocket. We, I guess. That was just the pejorative we. In general, the people of this area are paying about $100,000 for this event. It's a lot of money. We're expecting a lot of people. Have about 25 different vendors, including food, crafts, all sorts of things. We have a bubble performer. We have bounce houses. We have yard games. We have a lot. Sometimes it's just good to say, hey, here's this area. Can you set up something so that way these kids can be engaged and have as much fun as their parents or their guardians are going to be. So
Questions.
Of course.
Where are you getting the figures for 2,500 to 3,500 people?
So Kansas City Aero Sports is the people that we are bringing out of, Kansas City for the balloons. They have done many different events like this before. That is their estimation. That's only for the balloons. If we just had that event, just balloons, that's what they estimate.
So where's the band going to be?
We are still working on that.
And where is this going to be?
We are still working on that.
And who's doing parking?
That, we're also working on that. Partly, we have a lovely council member that has volunteered to assist with us with that.
I was going to put my hand up, but I didn't think that was appropriate. I'm helping with parking.
We do
Not
have.
running parking.
We,
Helping with parking. Let's be clear.
Where is you going to park everybody?
yeah, we
That's
do
in the
have
works.
we do have a pretty large plan of different lots that we are going to see whether people can park in and then either walk, because none of them are super far away. The farthest away is like the Berean Church, and we have not asked yet because we are waiting for somebody to do parking. So, pardon me, Berean Church people, if you heard that, we are going to ask you eventually. But we have people are going to park in different lots, and then we have plans to shuttle them there. So we're also going to have a drop-off parking spot. To be honest with you, this is not necessarily our best area, but we feel as if a rather large fireworks show, it needs to be by the lake for safety, and we feel like everything needs to be as close as we can get it. So we are making things. I could have told you almost all of the answers to those questions before this afternoon. So just bear with us. We're working things out.
So what's
What's
everybody
thoughts?
think? Because I think we've paid enough for this that we don't need to pay for this too. But that's my opinion.
Where's the $20,000 figure come from? Just curious.
Cindy, you wanna elaborate on that?
Well, 15,000 we gave
Approved
to
for the
the balloons and
balloons.
the advertising,
Mhm.
and then we have 6 for,
Fireworks.
fireworks that we.
You have 5.
Nope, it's 6.
It was,
No, that was $1,000 was a check that came your way.
that, yeah, but
So we can't.
The $20,000.
20,000,
Yeah,
So
we
where's
can't
the,
count that.
where'd the $1,000 come from?
a donation.
Yeah, it's a donation.
Which will be the rest of the cost.
Right.
Is there anything else similar to this that's targeting, we'll say, that demographic? Children specifically? I mean, in theory, the kids are gonna like balloons and fireworks and everything else, but
And bubbles.
Bouncy
and bounce
houses and bubbles.
Yes,
That's
and
what she said earlier, that they
yeah,
were,
but
yeah.
yep, we are trying to work with, again, someone who's volunteering their time. All of us are volunteering all of our time to do all of this because, well, that's what we care about. To put yard games together, potentially cornhole or ladder ball or things like that. Maybe some crafts if we can just get someone to help us put it out.
So what is this Children's Discovery Center Museum?
You bet. So they are the Children's Museum in Topeka. They have a mobile museum, so they come in a van and a trailer that they unload 10 to 12. I put this in your packet, I believe. I know Cindy put it in there, but it's like 10 to 12 different stations that are STEM or STEAM oriented. So everything from play acting, so vets, kitchens, hospital type of situation, to sawing and screwing and wind tunnels and painting on glass, on plexiglass. It is an amazing museum in Topeka, and we've actually had this mobile museum at the library, and it was one of the most fun 2 hours I've ever had there, just hearing all the kids, just the raucous sound. It was great. We also had them at Black Squirrel Fest. That was through a grant through Evergy, I believe, and they just don't have any more of that funding available right now.
so it's more education focused.
Correct,
Rather than
yes.
just straight up games.
Yeah, I mean, well, for sure. I mean, it's playing by learning, but yes,
Yeah.
it is most definitely more hands-on STEM, STEAM type of situation versus darts at balloons
Cornhole or whatever.
Yes, thank you. That was probably a better analogy than darts at big balloons. No, I'm kidding. Ugh, it's been a long day. I apologize.
What hours do they plan on running on July 8th?
Yes, that's a great question. Thank you, Kevin. So the event itself is at 5:30, and we are planning on having the bubble performer like at 6 o'clock, I believe his time is, and then the mobile museum would be like from 7 to 9, which is it is the time of the concert. So it's one of those things that it just kind of helps parents and guardians who are coming for the concert that have little ones
Fireworks
be
will
engaged.
at like 10 o'clock then?
10 o'clock.
Probably, yeah, 9:45,
Full
10
dark.
o'clock, somewhere like that.
We are saying 10 o'clock because that's what you told us, sir.
Yeah.
And speaking about Skyfest, if you all ever have any questions about that, please do not hesitate to give me a call or an email. I think you all probably have my email address. If not, call me at the library because I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Wayne is as well. He and I are since we're on the Convention and Tourism Committee, we're the ones that are kind of running it. And then we have a couple of other committee members as well, and they would be willing to help you out as well. But Wayne and I probably have the most fingers in the pot right now. So please do not hesitate to call or reach out. We sure would appreciate it.
Outside of the question about, the overall question about whether to spend more money or not, I'm inclined to like this in the sense that it is something that's educational. It feels like something worth supporting. I mean, if you were gonna rent $1,872 worth of cornhole boards, cornhole aficionados, I'd be like, yeah, come on. But this feels like, a net positive, in that aspect, like, I don't know. That would be, that kind of, to me, tips the balance. I could see making that expenditure, especially since it's been well received before and you have experience with it.
Okay, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I move to approve the funding, $1,872. Please don't come ask for any more.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
We got 3?
Three.
Yeah, I think it was 4-3. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mandy.
Mandy.
Thanks, Mandy.
Next up, we have appropriations ordinance number 3799.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3799, the amount of $270,944.35.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call?
Fry,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Snellings,
Yes.
Bikeman, Cracky,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Behrens,
Yes.
Crum,
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. Next up, we have Austin with the staff reports.
Alright, first on my list is, the 17th Street, overlay and curb and gutter. Included our quotes, for overlay and installation of curb and gutter, for 17th Street. We discussed multiple times with the car wash on what they would be willing to do, throughout this process. And they've repeated they don't want to do anything more than necessary, which, they agreed, one that paid us to fill in that gap with, cold mix, or they're going to pay us, they agreed to pay us. And then they're paying to fix, their portion of the street. They didn't want to do any more curb, than they've already done. We hit them up for that, actually, right before they did that curb. And they were not interested at all, even though it would, protect their property. It looks like they intentionally sloped everything away from their property, so they weren't too worried about it. So that's where the discussion went, with that. So if the council wanted to move forward with this, the prices are as such.
Question for you,
Uh-huh.
just by looking at the figures. I went up and looked at the project. From the corner on Carolina to the alley, that goes uphill quite a bit. And then we're gonna have to take the tube out at the alley and bring the alley down in order to get curb on down. Am I correct on that assumption? Looking at it from the naked eye, looking across there, that comes around the corner and drops down.
What alley?
The alley behind the car wash.
Well, it's not an
That's not
alley,
our-
it's-
Well,
Private drive.
Private drive,
Private drive.
whatever, but the tube is still there.
Right.
And that tube is higher than what the curb is on the north end.
What the curb would be.
Huh?
What the curb would be. Trying to think here. Let me see if I can.
I mean, so you're gonna have to take that drive down in order to get that to work. I'm gonna say roughly a foot to 16 inches to get that water to come all the way around from Carolina, down past that private drive, to get it on down to the bottom of the street by the car wash.
Car wash owns the private drive.
Well, I'm just telling you.
I'm asking, I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
They do, okay.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Did they have any concerns when they looked at it as far as the guttering and how that would work, if they'd have any issues?
No, there was a no questions asked, quote.
Like I said,
Went up there and looked at it?
Yeah, they went up there and looked at it, yeah.
The other side is pretty flat, and then, then you're gonna have to do, if you do the west side, you're gonna have to lay down curb in at, Lefties and
Hilltop Tire.
Hilltop Tire, and then bring that side all the way down too. But then they've got
got a bunch of concrete poured out there where they've just dumped concrete and kind of raked it down. You're gonna have to break all that out, re-pour all that.
I had Gary go out and look at this just to get me the numbers. And he didn't give me any concerns as to whether, where we could put the curb in or raising or lowering or anything like that. I'm not an expert on any of that, so,
That'd be my only thing. I just don't wanna create a problem where you've got, the water is draining where it's not, and we have water sitting in
Yeah, we
people's
have a
yards or
problem.
running across a private drive.
And you're gonna have to backfill, the people's yards
Yeah.
and seed it.
right.
I do
That's-
think it's one of those, now's the time
Yeah.
to do it, and
I ain't
it's,
saying that, but I mean.
but it's not as easy as
And-
all that.
and I would
It's not as
say
easy as go up
That's,
and go.
I
boom.
know, you can't just shoot it, it's not one big,
No, it's not.
yeah, I
Now
know,
it's-
It's an uphill and then
Yeah.
back down.
yeah.
And I would say too, I mean, having curbing would look a lot better.
Well, I think.
I mean, when you drive down the highway, it's nice road, and then you got this section that's just no
And-
curbing, it doesn't look.
And as there's more industrial traffic there, heavier traffic, that'll help hold the road.
Right.
Save us down the line. A question, Austin, on they're paying us for the asphalt in there.
Right.
How did you calculate them up, like, did you give them a bid ahead of time, like this many
Yeah.
man hours? and-
Well, on that,
was just
on the
curious.
cold mix, yes, I asked Gary how much time it would take and what materials it would take.
Yeah, I saw them up there doing that, and I'm like, future question coming right there,
Yep,
but.
no, I gave them a number and they okayed it beforehand.
So they don't wanna pay more than they're responsible for, but they did run heavy trucks up through there and into their private drive.
Oh, yeah.
So it's more than just their entryway at the corner of the highway, there's a whole half block of heavy truck traffic. They understand that, right? Okay, just making sure.
Well, we could also probably tell them, well, we sent that letter, otherwise you wouldn't have got to keep that opening. Right?
Highway, yeah.
I know,
I don't play that game.
I know, but I'm just saying.
That's where I'm at, is if they wanna show up and ask and let us know what kind of skin they wanna put in the game, great, but at this point, I don't wanna support the quotes that are in here, so.
$64,901.10.
Nope,
That block,
So the
curb and guttering and asphalt.
so they would, well,
That's less than what it usually, I mean, usually when we do a complete tear out, it's 100,000.
And they're gonna pay
or better.
13 of it?
they were gonna pay 13 of it, yeah.
They need to pay for their share of the curb and gutter from on the project too.
Yeah, I think, and they're saying they don't want curb and guttering then.
Right, they were fine with how it sits right now.
Yeah, well, that's not the way we play that game, I don't think, I mean, our job is to improve the city streets, their job is to wash cars, so,
Needless to say, we own the other half block, so that half block's on the city.
sure. No, I think maybe some clarification, just making sure that this actually will cover the bases as far as making sure it drains right and the excavation and everything is all calculated in. Just be better to take a little extra time now, making sure every ducks are in rows rather than later. But I mean, I think it's a good project, but yeah, I
I'm
don't know
not
that
saying
we
it's
need
not
to
a bad
do,
project,
we
but
can't stamp it and go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it needs some more work looked at on it.
I guess what more work, cause, I had our guys go out and look at it. They gave me the numbers, and then they reported, Jeff from Inline went out and examined the project as well. I guess what beyond?
and he didn't have.
He didn't
I mean,
have any problems with it?
The next day, we got a quote.
Well, that's, I mean, I just don't know, I mean, and I know we pour too much money in engineering, don't even get me started, but, I mean, was he looking at it for that specific kind of thing, like where the water will flow, or was he looking at it, I don't know, I'd like a little clarification for what all he was looking at it for, if that makes sense.
That's fine.
are there bad enough spots that it really needs to be done?
This was asked, from the council, this is
Okay.
coming
I'm
from
the
this
one who
group.
brought it up.
It needs to be.
Yeah, I get, you
Curb and
just,
gutter and the whole
Curb and gutter,
street.
not
if,
necessarily.
I mean, if there's potholes, just put limestone in
The
them.
business owners, well, the business owners I know are,
Yeah, and the
they do
business
have
owners are
concerns
asking
about,
for it, yeah.
they feel like this is the time, and for that matter, the car wash put a lot of traffic on it, needs repaired. So it's kind of, to me, it makes sense. I'm not out looking for just projects willy-nilly, but this one, sometimes the timing is right.
It needs an overlay. I mean, all that equipment was hard on that
Yeah.
street, and it wasn't in
And there's
phenomenal shape
a lot
to
of
begin
business
with,
being done on that
so,
street. It's
Yeah.
something I think we should support.
It does, I would say it needs at least an overlay. I mean, if anything, to support the other businesses that are up there.
Oh, yeah.
And,
It's not
and
just a
that-
business, it's, a lot of people do use that to get to their houses. I mean, it's a lot quicker than going down some of the roads.
I mean, I came with the idea of just overlaying it, and the council asked for curb and gutter. So that's what I brought back this time. So if you guys, and so the overlay was bid at, without the curb and gutter, on there, so they can still overlay it, which that $13,000 worth still needs, $14,000 worth, it still needs to be done. And that the car wash is paying for that, but, yeah.
So, how much is the car wash paying for then?
The
13,
just that
yeah.
portion of the entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just where the portion where they put asphalt to go into the,
yeah.
so then, okay.
Yeah, they're not even paying clear up to their property.
No, they're not.
But see, they were pulling trucks in and out of there,
Yeah.
and trucks were pulling in and out of there on their behalf. I'm not saying it was all their trucks. I mean, to me, that's all at least some responsibility. I'm not saying that we hang a half a block of asphalt on them. I'm not trying to be unfair, but,
Quarter block?
well, yeah, one side of one half of
Yeah.
one block.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the theory you guys are using is if somebody comes down here and builds an infill lot and they tear up the street, they need to pay for it. That's the theory you're using.
Well, my theory is if anybody tears up a public right of way for any reason, there probably should be covering part of that.
They're paying for 30% of the project.
Okay, well,
So they're paying over their quarter then?
Yeah.
maybe that's fair then.
30% of the asphalt project.
Just the asphalt?
Just the asphalt
Yeah.
project.
But see, and so, I mean, I'm gonna argue against myself, because that's what I do. I suppose the counter argument would be, the devil's advocate argument would be that that makes sense and that we would pay for the curb and gutter, because the curb and gutter does help them, but I want curb and gutter to help us. I don't want it because it improves their property or holds their soil. I want it because it holds our road and saves that. So if we have to eat it, then we have to eat it. It'd be nice if they would contribute, since they want to be welcome to the community as a new business, but that's on them, so.
I mean, they did that entrance portion of the curb and gutter, but that's up to their entrance. But yeah, they were, like I said, they were completely fine with stopping right there. So, any other questions on that?
Can we bring this back next meeting?
I mean, that's fine.
I know that's not what you want, but.
No. It's not me. It's the contractors.
Will they hold the quote?
Um,
Says good for 30
Is Hall Brothers
days.
coming to town quicker than we think to do this project?
Because we're already outside the 30 days on the quote.
on the Hall Brothers, we're outside their quote. Inline gave it right after we asked for it.
I know Inline's doing a lot of projects in town now, so.
Yeah.
And they're working on curb and gutter in town,
I know.
which you're probably not gonna get a better deal.
So they've got the forms ready to
Yeah.
go.
Well, they got crews that they just
Do
wanna
that.
move right
Yeah,
up.
they can move them around.
So
They're getting ready to be in that
you
neighborhood.
guys can push it off, that's fine. There are negatives to that.
This will be coming out of general fund, right?
No,
Sales
it'll
tax.
come out of sales tax. Every
time we hit something, hit sales tax, hit sales tax, hit sales tax.
Well,
Goodness,
I mean,
we
it's,
have
a-
that.
I
Sales
know,
tax
I
supposed
know.
to
the
be
street,
streets.
we've been taking streets out of
I know
sales
we
tax.
have.
There are sales tax creating businesses on that
Yes,
street,
there
so
are. There are.
that's not illogical.
If they're profitable.
Well, at least, I think the ones that are there probably been around long enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Move to approve project 17th Street overlaying curb and gutter for $64,901.10.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, 6-1.
Out of sales tax, right?
Out of sales tax?
Well, yeah,
Yes.
Right?
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I get it in minutes, that's all.
6-1.
It helps Sandy.
Okay.
All right, the second thing on my list was really an impromptu discussion as it happened during our budget workshop. It was brought up during the budget workshop, possibly replacing our chip spreader. What year is that? 1970. Let's just say 1970s
Yeah.
chip spreader with a newer version. We started a discussion there, happened to find one during the workshop, and Gary and I were asked to do more digging into it. The next day, came up with questions, went through all 72 pictures of it that were online, asked all the questions to the salesperson, and then went and looked at it to get a better idea of whether this would be a good fit for the street department. You can read Gary's report. Machine's in good shape. We got to test drive it. Took it on a couple laps. Saw the hydraulics working on where you can drop the chips out of. The belts were working. They put a decent paint job on it, which is why it looks brand new from afar. You can tell it's a paint job. They re-stickered it, made it look even better. That was pretty much its only flaw, was that they were covering up the age of the machine with that. Other than that, the wiring was bendable. The covering wasn't coming off like it was on our current machine. The hydraulics, the hoses were soft. Started up like it's brand new. The engine was awesome on that.
Did you check the tires?
Yes.
How old are they?
Don't know how. I don't know the age on them. But we. I made sure Gary was okay with those.
And they're not some irregular size. I know
No.
tires, you can buy a piece of equipment for the tires
Yeah.
half the time.
They looked. Just
Size they are?
from the. I don't know the size, but.
That's what I said.
Just from conversation, while we literally kicked the tires, they looked in good condition. I made sure Gary looked at them really good. He said, they look like they're good, slightly used tires.
Like, they don't need to be
In his
speed
report,
rated.
that he says the tires were probably 50% on the front and 30 to 40% on the back with no noticeable weather cracking.
Well, I'm very
Yeah.
distrustful of tires.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
I understand that. But if we get a flat tire,
And I
that's
don't know
the
how
worst
well-
thing we
Well,
we
and
come
then
out
I
they
don't
of.
know how the tires are on our current
And
machine either.
they don't need to be speed rated or anything. Do we have any program for inspecting the tires on a lot of these pieces of equipment that we just, I assume we are checking all these regularly
regular
enough?
maintenance.
Because, some of these
Yeah.
trucks don't see many miles. Those tires are not gonna wear the tread off.
No, I don't.
We just learned at our workshop that we didn't change oil in the skid loader for how many hours, so we have a program.
That's a special, that's not good, yes. But that piece of equipment that department was used to switching it out every year.
Yeah.
So that it was
So
not.
they didn't have a developed program to
on that
check
specific
those
thing.
annually? or-
Everything else everything else gets
Does that-
something
Weekly
on the
checklist.
hour.
Does,
Maintenance schedule?
does that skid loader not have like an oil, I mean, like cars have a oil reminder, I mean, it tells you when the oil needs changed, does it not have anything that's tracking that?
And for that matter,
Well, I mean, I'm
do we
just
check the
asking
oil
if,
every X many
You would
uses?
think it would.
Yeah, I
Because you
mean,
can
they,
usually see if it's getting,
Yeah.
our street department is really, good at doing the maintenance, and I get reports like 50 hours in advance of when they're gonna get the oil changed.
I
and
think
all
they
that
do a
stuff.
good job. It's just one of those, I know how it is, having a way too big of a fleet of crap to change the oil on myself. If you don't keep track and don't have a system for keeping track, it's just really easy for things to slip.
Right.
That's the thing to me, is it just needs, you need a schedule, and the regularity of it is what makes sure you're on top.
Right, no, they do regular maintenance, and,
You know, I know they do a good
yeah,
job.
it's, especially the street department, they keep on top, they have a lot of equipment.
We have a lot of tires,
Yes.
that's why I'm bringing up tires.
Yeah,
Probably have 200 city tires, 300 city tires.
Way more
I mean,
than that.
It's more than you think, I guess, when you start thinking about some of these with duals and,
10-wheelers and 6-wheelers.
yeah, you're right.
yeah, lots.
Trailers.
And yes, there is a department that has a tire program. Can't
See, I know the
totally
part.
agree with it,
Yeah.
but they have a tire program.
No, this exceeded, expectation, as far as it runs, and how, the age. So, the trip was well worth, going to look at this.
Okay, let's go this route. Have you guys looked up one of these machines? Went from 39.5 to 168,000. Now, 168,000 did some fancy things, like you could do 12 to 16 feet wide, you had 4-wheel drive, you,
Probably had an oil change reminder.
it might, but here's my point is, that's for the guy that uses it 9 months out of the year.
Yeah.
What do we use ours, 3 days?
Yeah.
Where do we keep ours?
He keeps it
Etched.
I know it's
That's what
inside.
I thought, yeah.
But some of the problems that we have with ours is stuff is welded together that's not
Supposed to be well.
necessarily supposed to be welded together, but they don't manufacture parts for it.
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
So does it have any, I mean, what's the residual value? I mean, I'm sure it's a purple
We hope
wave.
we Somebody buys it?
We could probably sell it.
Purple, and it's like, do we have to enter the
Try.
scrapper?
I think Smitty's paying 160.
That's what I was,
Might be what ends
Yeah,
up
but we
with
get docked for
something too.
tires, so we gotta be careful.
So this machine actually, provides a lot of advantages. The current machine, you're manually doing everything. All those switches on the front side, all the levers, you're doing all that manually. Those are all hydraulic on this one. And then this one, Gary was really excited about. The current hopper on ours is just flat. So you dump the rocks in, the belts are right in the middle, kinda. The edges are just flat pieces of metal. So you're in there scooping, getting it in there. This one has a hopper that pours all the rocks into it.
well, that's good.
So it gets rid of that manual labor into the process. The guy up front, this has a deck up front, whereas the current one doesn't. Our guy actually I should probably not talk about this.
Who
Yeah.
walks in front of it as they drive?
No, it's worse.
Okay, then let's not talk about that.
Well, so I mean, if we get this, is it similar enough to what we have that there's not
Yes.
really any new training program or anything that
This
needs
is,
involved?
I mean, learn how the switches go, and it's pretty close to what we got right now.
Should be easier, the other one's a stick shift.
Yeah,
be
this
way
one's
easier to
manual.
drive.
This is
Or not, or
iron
this
stuff.
one's automatic, sorry. Yeah. This one is automatic.
And you know, coming up 70 to 2000, what was it, 2?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's
32 years.
2002, but that's still 31
Well,
years,
That's 50 years.
21 years ago.
Well,
Or
the,
2002.
the one we have now is
2000.
52 years old, and
Yeah,
this one is
this one also, they still
21.
make parts for it.
Yeah.
This one can still legally drink, but.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this one they make parts for.
I think to add to that though, 2014, that's 19 years ago, 2014?
Yep.
The county made a conscious decision that, one, chip and seal was a thing of the past. Two, the labor that they spent doing it wasn't worth it. And the cost of owning the equipment got overbearing. So that's almost 20 years ago. So if we talk about the 30 years ago,
Oh, wait a minute.
no,
I'll let you finish,
let's go
but
that way.
We're gonna point it out. We're gonna point it out where they get their money from.
Because you ran the chip and seal
No,
machine at
where
one
did they
point in
get their
time.
money from? Point it out, if you're gonna be honest, where they getting their money from?
Taxpayers.
No, they're not. He does those road
They
improvements.
have more of a
with the
plan than we do,
windmill
Parker.
money from Beatty. You want me to call him and ask him? That's exactly
I'll call
what
him right
he'll tell
now if you want me
Please
to.
do.
So my take on chip and seal is, it's a bit of a devil's trade. We chip and sealed streets in this town we should have never chipped and sealed. That's, a lot of towns have done that. So chip and seal isn't like a savior, but there's a lot of places I think where it does make sense, and the scale and usage and things for a city are a little different than the county. But I get I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It has its place, and realistically,
that.
we don't have enough money to do mill and overlays on the amount of stuff we would have to do.
How many
if we
linear
didn't do
miles
chip and
of
seal.
non-brick, non-concrete street are in this
a
town?
lot.
I'd have to look that
A
back
lot.
up, but we talk about that number every year, but.
I know.
Now,
and
we
to-
have streets that have chip and seal to the point where it's like 2 inches above.
It's a big
the-
number, but what we forget about is what does it cost to have, how many guys are out on a chip and seal project?
The whole street department plus two.
But chip and
So,
seal doesn't take
7?
very long, it's the prep
No,
work.
that'd be
I
nine.
mean, it's the prep work
Nine
that takes a
people.
lot of time, it's
And
getting
so
it
we
cleaned
can't
up,
just look at
sealing
what
it.
we pay them per hour, it's the benefits and cost on top of it, so you gotta, but if you added it up, you'd be surprised. That's just
it
my
does
opinion,
cost.
A lot of,
and I have a right to have an opinion, so.
I know, but at the same time, I mean, you have to have those employees for the winter time when you have a I mean, you can't just operate with a skeleton crew, I mean.
But, well, I mean, we do get, sometimes, when we can get seasonal, we get seasonal to help out with that. And they do other things while they're on. I mean, I guess to counter, the Marshall County giving up, chip and seal, I came from my previous job in Dickinson County, and they're going full bore on chip and seal. The county does all the roads, including when the cities requested, they do the cities.
County used to do that too.
Yeah, and they only ask for material, be paid for.
But the county also took on shoulder rock now.
Right.
That's what they do. They had to go buy machinery to do that.
Yeah. So I mean, and I just was in a meeting with the road and bridge guy out of Dickinson County, and he was still talking about that, his, chip and seal program.
My
Thank
take
you.
is, I think we're trying to stay reasonably well on top of making sure there's safe, reliable equipment,
And roads?
and roads.
Okay, thank you.
But you need the reliable equipment to help keep staff, not happy, but necessarily always, but doing the work that it takes to maintain these roads. The fact that we've got the piece of equipment that's that much older than I am, and we're still putting it to use, it's kind of amazing. I presume we could take this out of MER.
Yes.
I move to approve the purchase of the 2002 chip spreader for $39,500 to come out of MER,
And the
plus freight.
freight,
plus freight,
yeah.
which was,
At least 56.
50, yeah,
when
we
he
don't know the
quoted it to
exact
me.
amount, but.
do not
Second.
exceed.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nope.
No.
5-2.
Okay. Last thing on my list, financials, general fund is sitting at about $900,000, which is almost $100,000 higher than, this time last year. Water fund saw a slight increase in balance as we start to see increase in revenues, for the summer months. Sewer fund increased about 35,000, as we hope to continue that increasing, fund balance. It won't increase the same way as water does because we are in, set sewer months. Correct, Cindy?
We're in set sewer, yes,
We
correct.
are in set sewer.
Yes.
It will fluctuate because commercial doesn't do, set sewer, but, pretty much stay the same, for those months. Sales tax fund saw a decrease in balance as we start to pay for projects. Any questions on financials? Seeing none, I have, nothing else under my report. Go on to.
Okay, Will?
Hello again. This encoder that we got here we had it in the budget for this year. I was just bringing the estimate they gave, forward. What this is for our storm sirens. It's our box in here that hooks to our computer to run the system. Ours is getting really aged, and last year he had some trouble trying to get it up and going when we had a problem. So he said it would be a good thing to get updated. So.
Do all the sirens work?
They are, again. We had one that was having a little trouble and we got it. They came up here last 2 weeks ago and got it going for us again.
Working.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And even though this quote is from January, will confirm that they will honor this quote.
Yeah, I talked to them this morning on that.
This basically brings it back up to current status and.
Yes, it would get us up to where he's actually working with something that's this decade. It's getting pretty old.
Move to approve the purchase of the digital timer controller for the storm sirens, amount of $6,451.50.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
The next thing I got is the quote for the old fire station over here to make that file room in there. Inline, the one that got us the prices here. He did say he'd like to increase what his quote was because it was just a quick quote that he'd thrown in here by $600 for the spray foam. He said it's a little higher than he thought it was, so he increased it on that. Total amount doing that with the apron out front would be $33,525.
This was something you guys asked for out of the workshop as well, to bring back to the council.
Is this where we would theoretically move, like, all the paperwork that's still down at the Chamber Main Street office?
At least some of it. I don't know if we'd be able to move it all, but we would be able to open up that. If you've been in there, there's a back room,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a front back room that could all be emptied out, the front part.
I was gonna say, I know.
Because then we can open the door between them and they can use the front and we can lock the back.
I know CMS it's high on their priority list is to
Right.
get it all out if possible.
We try our best.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a major. And that's
Some of it, is it just where like
It's
we have to maintain for
every
accounting
payroll
purposes?
forever, every project we don't even do.
Did you say
has to
every
be
payroll forever?
Forever.
So we have payroll from like 100 years ago?
Yep, and every project that we not, even if we didn't do it, you have to keep it.
Serious question, do we have to keep hard copies of all these things? Can we
Well,
digitize
I've
some of
been
this
through
and burn it?
4 digital media so far. And once it's out there, if that media goes away, you can't get it. You know, floppies, tape drives, different tape
Floppies,
drives.
what's that?
Yeah,
Explain to me
exactly,
what that-
Todd. I've lived a long time. If an auditor will tell you that paper is the one thing you got. You
Yeah,
really
but
get in a lawsuit,
paper can still burn, paper can
It
still get
can.
flooded.
It
paper
can.
Once
That's
it gets
true.
wet, it's done too.
I mean, I used to be of your kind of inclination, but now
I've-
I'm more like I trust a hard drive and somewhere else
Well,
as much
we've
as
had
I
to get
trust-
stuff out of the cloud. It didn't come.
Well, 2 clouds.
No, they just couldn't retrieve it. It was there. They just couldn't retrieve it, right? So then, I don't know.
Microfilm?
Anyway,
going
so we
anyway.
can move as much as we can, but there may, like I said, even if we kept the back room, that would give them a whole bunch in that other room, and that opens the door between them, so they can walk between them. Back
But
where
my
they,
thought on this, if we're paying to do this, why would we not move everything
Yes.
into one building?
well, we can, then we just have to,
Why-
and I don't know if this is
You know what
enough
I mean?
space.
Like, if
I'd
you're
have to
doing the
look.
project anyway,
Yep.
why are we gonna only do half of it? And
We can
then
make the
10 years
space
from now,
bigger.
do the other?
Put more shelves in it.
Well, or we might have to use 3 bays.
And if you can't digitize, why is the Register of Deeds digitizing everything
I don't
right
know,
now?
she's also keeping her books.
Well, but nothing new is gonna go into the book,
Okay, I don't know.
so,
I just have,
just
you
a
know,
thought.
anyway.
Yeah, I kinda like the idea of if we're gonna bite this off, make it complete.
Maybe,
Yeah,
I
get it
mean,
all out
'cause
there in one place.
I don't know how.
And close. It kinda-
I don't
mean,
know
there's a
how
lot
big
of-
this is gonna be once
It's a
he's
30-foot
done.
by 30-foot room, 12-foot tall, so you can,
We could
you
probably
can't stack
have
up
better
much.
storage.
That's bigger than the building.
Right,
storing
okay,
it.
well,
I would think-
so then
I
we
would
should be
think that
able
would
to
Yeah.
work it out. I just know that I've moved it out of the old courthouse
Put
to
shelves
this
all the way around
room,
into the
and
center.
I'll move it again, whatever it takes. And we do have a safe full in here.
And I do think the fixing the drainage issue makes sense.
Yes.
My point about documents being damaged by water.
Oh, yeah.
Keep the water away.
Yeah, absolutely, and they do have to be climate controlled, so that they don't turn to moldy mush.
Control in there.
We have to.
That wasn't included in this price here, we would have to do.
Yeah, we have to have that, though.
But yeah, you're gonna have to
Something,
condition
we already
it.
have heat in there at the time, but it would make more sense to put one of those,
mini splits.
mini splits in there to
We'll
keep
have to
it.
do something.
So we're gonna build this first, and then, well,
So is this building over here, I mean, is it on a separate meter than this building? We're all metered together.
No, it is on a separate meter.
It is.
It's on a separate meter, but it is on the same generator.
Okay.
I mean, so the
That's what I was-
generator, supports it as well.
Gotcha.
That, no, it is a separate meter.
So how much do you think would add to it to do the climate control?
I
a
didn't get
mini
a price for
split?
one of those yet.
8 to 9.
Yeah,
8 to 9,000?
yeah. I'd figure 10 if you wanna be safe, probably.
43 then.
How old's the roof on this building? Do you have
That I
any
don't
idea?
know. It looked good when I was up there checking it for hail.
I
all I
just,
know.
I'm, you know, I'm
Well, there you go.
trying to think down
That's
the
all you can
line.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, I mean, like I said, I like the idea of having it all together. I like the idea of having it close to here.
Close would be wonderful.
I'm sure that wouldn't hurt your feelings any.
Oh, not at
And,
all.
I mean, Chamber Main Street would be happy. There's a lot of,
Pluses.
Yep.
yeah, a lot of boxes getting checked. And, I mean, look at putting up a building.
Yeah.
You're not, no, this is,
The question is where?
I know, where would you do it anyway, but also close, also look at, I mean, like, part of me is like, oh, we should take it down and do, no, use what you have, improve what you have, make it what you need. Also, maybe have them run the skid loader down the, path back here, cause it is rippled. I tripped the other day walking through here, so.
Great.
Maybe we need to asphalt that?
I didn't say that.
I know you didn't.
Okay, somebody wanna make a motion?
I'll
Go ahead.
move to approve the, request to, convert the old fire station into storage, with the addition of adding a mini split. Assume we'll go out for bids on that, will you bring that back then?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks, Will.
Okay, next we move on to standing committee reports. Anybody have anything on the street?
I had it pointed out by somebody in my ward, about the charging station down here. I'm seeing it getting used by different vehicles, I've noticed, so that's great. But that there's not really any signage. I know we did discuss signage. I think signage is in, what was that?
So let them finish. let 'em
Oh, I'm
finish.
sorry. So, I mean, as in, hey, it's here signage, but also as in the, hey, you know, if you're not using this, please use one of the 30 other parking spots in the vicinity. So I just didn't know what plans are in the works, but I'm feeling like I'm gonna find out here in just a moment.
We're looking into it. Keith caught me,
Okay.
actually, I think it was a barbecue or before the barbecue weekend.
Okay.
And was like, yeah, it makes sense.
No, it does
He
make
was
sense.
concerned that, you know, somebody would park there. I think they did a good job of
They
keeping
did a
it
good
open.
job of
Nobody was
keeping it
parking
open,
there.
I was shocked.
I wondered about
But
that.
some signage would probably
Well,
be
yeah,
a
and
good
it's-
idea.
and
It takes
I
an
mean, we've-
ordinance to
it's
do the
also
no
a-
parking there, so I'm working on that.
Okay,
ordinance.
and also it's like I said, I mean, we put it in, we should brag it up a little bit.
Yep.
And attract, maybe we snag a car a week that was just driving through and didn't know it was there, and they park and then go eat. I don't know.
There's been quite a few in there, though.
I've definitely seen, and like I said, various, I've seen some out-of-state plates and things, so,
The Georgia plate there last week, one day.
I saw like a Maryland plate, so.
So, yeah.
So did I drove by, and I think it was a Kia, maybe, that was charging there.
Yeah, they have Kia Nitros
Yeah,
that are all
hadn't seen one
electric.
before.
I mean, it's nice to see it being used.
Absolutely. And it's not like those spots were getting filled by people, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe once the health department's going, other things have developed, but,
Well, and you know, we're on a main highway going east and west, you know,
Yeah.
that's,
and north-south
Yeah,
to
well, that's
77,
true.
so that's why it's ideal in a lot of ways.
And this is the only commercially available charging station from the Colorado border to the Missouri border on the Highway 36.
Mm-hmm. There's other stations, but they're all privately
They're all
owned,
like
and dealerships or
behind a
hotels.
hotel, or there's one, I forget, one down the road that's like they hung it on a pole, and it's like a home charger. It looks like a home charger.
Yeah.
But we are, yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I'm done. Your turn.
11th Road going south.
Yep.
I talked to like RJ and T. Meyer and some other people living out there. They've really never been reached out to for what are we gonna do when because this is on the radar, right?
Yeah.
But nobody's been really contacted on how am I gonna get in and out of my home and things like that, as far as shoe flies go. I know we need to start doing that because there's gonna be some resistance there. And then they obviously they.
Resistance and you don't.
Well,
think
there's
they'll
some
get-
people don't wanna put a road through, they don't wanna have a concrete project that's gonna take 4 months. They obviously have an
it's-
opinion of
Yeah.
different ways, and I think really we need to go out and talk to those individuals. So,
I'm in the middle, and there's not gonna be any temporary roads put in. The engineer actually, told me that all we need is a short amount of temporary easement on all the properties, and there are 3 properties that, require a permanent easement. Most of them, I think the biggest width was like 15 feet into their property for a temporary easement.
but I think we need to be talking to them too.
I'm in the
so.
middle of that right
Okay,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm talking to them. I don't have the plans. I have 3 pages of construction document. Well, it's not even construction document, but I don't have how they're going to phase it in just yet. But Rob did send me three pages of the road. But
So do you like reach out to them with a letter, by phone, or
By
how do
phone.
you? Okay,
I,
good.
in fact, I just got an email back, from one of the property owners. And, well, they already signed the agreement, so we're
Good.
in the works.
So the other thing, I think on our timeline on 12th Road to Kiowa, 11th, or the portion of Keystone, and then I think we kind of agreed on 11th Terrace going south, right?
To do
We're doing the engineering, yeah.
For the engineering. The timeline it was very aggressive by BG, but yet I haven't heard any feedback unless other people are hearing it.
They got until fall to
Well,
a biddable project.
I think you need to look at what we agreed to when we voted on the project. Because it was, by now, we should have had a proposal that would be a discussion point for the committee and,
The engineering,
yeah, look at the,
done that by now?
you need to look at what we voted on, so.
I mean, we've never, I mean, the engineering generally doesn't, happen quite that fast. I'm just saying, I mean, it's, no matter who you get,
You
it's,
go back and look at your proposal, Jason, that was presented to us. So, that's all I have.
okay,
Jayhawk Road. I have another
Yes.
complaint
Yes.
from another person on Jayhawk Road.
Yes.
What are we doing about Jayhawk Road?
The dust.
The dust. Unsafe. They
It's very,
can't see
it's very
cars.
dusty.
we need rain, and we need to get that probably rolled in with some of the other stuff. I think a lot of the rock that we put out there was so dry, it just, been rolled into a powder on top of it.
And
I
I
was
think-
out there one day and it was just nothing but, I mean,
Yeah.
well, nothing but there was a lot of powder.
After it came out
Fines.
after it came out during the last meeting that this was brought, I went out there and walked around a little bit. And I'm not gonna say we got sold a bill of goods, but I got rock from the same quarry that was also supposed to be the good rock, and I don't have a tenth that many fines in mine, thankfully. 'Cause I would not want, I mean, there were a significant quantity of fines. It hadn't been enough time where I thought it was actually getting pulverized. I think I don't know if we got the bottom of a hopper somewhere or what, but it was a lot of fines. Very, very chalky.
I thought maybe it was on thick that it just rolled and that was what was causing the dust, but it's
Well-
not on that thick.
No, it's,
And-
at least not on Jayhawk.
You gotta look too, because the road isn't really shaped, it's pretty flat, and we put the rock on, spread it, so it's gonna do what it's gonna do.
Yeah, it's gonna walk.
One thing I did look into, I talked to Lauer and I talked to Phil Bruna, and they have these, I thought millings.
Millings.
Well, no, millings are gonna lay down and they're gonna get solid, but you could even look at like a crushed milling that has less oil content and kinda incorporate that in. And it's actually cheaper than the rock we paid for. Just as a thought to do 100 foot and just see what happens.
And maybe a little bit of oil would help
No, I don't,
tack it up a little bit.
If you get
I'm
too
not
much,
saying
it gets
spraying oil, I'm saying in his.
chunky, yeah.
Winifred still have that? Remember when they milled down there at Winifred and they took it and they put it right there in the little town?
Mhm.
Is that still there?
It's still there.
That was one place that it come basically straight out of Miller. And it kinda set up, and it set up all the washboards, and then you had chunks that were sized like dinner plates and laptops and stuff.
You'd have to take,
He had too much oil is what he did.
right.
you'd have to take anything you got and shake it or,
What they explained to me is if you crush the millings, you size it and get the oil out. And Bruna's have some, I know Hall Brothers has some. But like Phil said, he could even, if we like it, he could bring his crusher up to the dump this winter. He can't crush it during the summertime for whatever reason. It gets to be a mess.
Right.
But if we like it, try it out. But the nice thing about the crushed millings is you can still work it somewhat with the motor grader. If you just put straight millings down, they said that it's gonna get tight and you're gonna get the washboards and everything, so,
And
I
then
don't
the
know.
next step is, after you do that, is take those crushed millings that you're talking about, and we probably need to go out there to 11th Road North, right next, and put it in like shoulder rock. So that asphalt has less chance of being pushed, it has something kinda holding it.
So how small of a scale could we, I mean, you said what, 100 feet?
I talked to Don Bruna and I said, hey, could you come out and look at this road and just figure 100 foot? And could you come out and just shape a portion of it? Because our motor grader is not big enough to shape that road and get a crown on
That
it.
road probably needs its ditches cleaned, to be honest.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure
It probably needs a full workup,
If
ditches.
you don't wanna waste the money on it when it's sitting there flat, you
Well,
know, in my opinion.
Probably needs its ditches cleaned, probably needs the road shaped, and probably needs the tri-dat. So it's not a terrible idea to try.
But even if you did 100 foot,
150.
yeah, 150
Yeah.
foot, yeah.
I would try and stay away from the stop sign area right now.
The intersection.
Either one,
yeah.
because the only reason is every time somebody hits their brakes, that's what creates washboards when it's dry. So to give you a fair test, I would try and stay away from them, that they're not on their brakes so much. Because then they're just gonna complain that, oh, all I'm doing is peeling it out. So that's the reason I say that.
Lay it
And I
down.
would hope that we could do it ourselves, shaping that road, but we don't have the horsepower to.
I think we could try a little bit, but
Yeah.
then if we go to do big scale, I think that you need to bring somebody else in.
Yeah, because they can come do it in a day where we're gonna spend.
Right.
And you,
Right.
I assume you just as well have them shape 8th Street up here at the same time. You have them do the whole thing we're
If you're
responsible
gonna do it,
for.
I think,
You could try it, I don't know what all it needs on one side.
to me, the first test is incorporate the crushed millings in
Mhm.
and see if it helps control the dust. If it does, we found something.
Try it. I'd say go from 13th Street back to the west. Through
There's
those
those-
people,
Pines and then beyond.
Well, that would carry it there by them people that go north.
by where the people live there.
Oh, where 11th Street goes north, or, yeah, that's 11th Street.
13th.
13th.
13th Street, but 11th Street's going up by Cudney's and
Yeah,
that,
go-
that's
go
11th
through-
Street.
Yeah, go through that area there with it, at least try it through there. I mean, that's where the majority of the people live. I mean,
I'm not opposed to trying it, as long as, I just don't wanna bring, does somebody have some that we can try? Instead of having to wait till,
I think Hall Brothers had some for 14 a ton, and I think we paid 18 for the rock, I think we paid pretty close to 18.
I can't quote that, and I don't know if there was any in here, but I can look.
And then, Brunas have some too, that
I-
they never give me a price, but it's gonna be the same price. It's another discussion, I think it's a
it's worth
street
an
committee
attempt.
meeting.
I don't have
It's
any
worth
in
an
here.
attempt is what it is.
Yeah,
Is what it
because
is.
it's better than putting down that
white rock, white dust.
white rock and putting down the calcium and all that stuff, it's just, it's a waste of money.
Yeah, I don't like white rock, I like Barnston blue.
Have the boys try it.
Yeah, look into it.
What was the,
We wanna,
Hall Brothers, you
we
think?
wanna try, yeah,
Oh,
getting some
either.
millings from one or the other. And
I guess out of those two, who has it?
We can haul it
To
ourselves.
do 100 or 150 feet, is that?
Well, the question would be, is it smarter just have somebody come in with a belly dump and lay that in there?
Either Bruno's or I could arrange a belly dump to.
I mean, I'm not, I just think that'd be simpler, because, I don't know.
Either way.
I mean, if it's two loads, then that's, it's like a couple hours of their day of laying it in and walking away.
But we want the stuff that's crushed,
Yeah, not regular millings.
not regular millings. We want crushed millings.
Hey, since somebody's talked to Dawn, why don't we start there? Let's talk to Dawn and start with.
Dawn helped us out in the storm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I have no problem with
Oh,
that,
yeah.
I'm just, that's what I'm being honest about, just talk to him, and he knows what we're chasing.
And then, I mean, if he doesn't have the millings, could he get them from Hall Brothers to do the job?
I think he has some,
Oh, okay.
I think he has some down there.
I think he does too.
They recycle quite a bit of stuff.
For some reason, I think they're out by Taco Bell.
I don't know if the crushed ones are.
I don't know,
There's
there's a couple,
something out there.
there's a couple piles out
Yeah.
there. I think last winter he had his crusher in there, that's the reason I
He
say
did.
that. At least try it, doesn't hurt. If it fails, it fails, if it don't, it don't.
Okay. Anything else on street?
Yeah, something else. I saw that AT&T got their contract in here and got this manhole in the highway done. Do you know when they're gonna open that back up, if they told us?
they're letting it cure, they haven't said when that's supposed to open back up.
I just know they closed this down for a
Yeah.
long time last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had the traffic control guys out, before the weekend fixing all the traffic controls, so, knew it was gonna be through the weekend at the very least. I mean, they pour, what day did they pour that?
Thursday?
Thursday. They're probably gonna give it a good week.
Okay, that's why I figured this
yeah.
was probably about a week. Do you know if the same crew's gonna do anything with the other
They were supposed
AT&T
to.
manhole project?
They
Is
were
that-
supposed to, yeah.
Okay,
We're trying.
You got a lot of faith there.
Yeah.
we're just gonna have to start calling it the AT&T and street department.
As long as they're not on the payroll.
That's not a problem. Okay, that's all I have.
Anything else on street? Water, wastewater?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes.
The manhole on the northwest corner of 14th Street, how much higher or lower does that set compared to the one in front of Nordis's? Can we find out? Because if you could just tear up the curb and gutter and take the one from in front of Nordis's and drop that in on 14th Street, then you wouldn't have to ever worry about boring the highway. Because 14th goes down and drops in that big tube.
14, you mean,
From in front of Nordis's,
uh-huh.
go west to the catch basin on the northwest corner by that stop, or by that power pole.
Right.
If there's enough flow to get it from Nordis's to there, then we would never have to worry about boring the highway.
I think I looked
Yeah, but-
into that first.
But you'd still run into some, cause it's not just, I mean, it drains, Nordis's ties into that other one, which is collapsed.
The one that's
Talking
collapsed,
put a larger-
the one that's collapsed is the one under the highway.
Well, south of the highway, or right south of the highway.
But if we could take it west
Uh-huh.
and abandon that one.
All of it?
under the highway, just a section under the highway that's bad.
Okay.
You just dump to what is already existing. I think, it's been a few months since I looked at it, but I was hoping to go that way.
Just a thought, because I mean, that curb and gutter in that area isn't in the best shape anyway.
No.
Be
So you
replaced.
could kill two birds with one stone if you can get enough drop from in front of Nordis's to that manhole to put it in it, and shoot it right on down through that big tube.
I will double check on that.
Just a thought. Things you see when you drive around.
Anything else on water, wastewater? We're getting closer to, you said we were getting closer to being ready to put that project out, right?
The water, oh, lagoons, yes, bid, request went to the paper today. So opening is July 14th.
Have we heard anything on the manholes in the highway?
The manholes, where am I at with that one?
Is that the one that's out?
I'm opening,
It's out for bid though,
June
correct?
14th. I'm opening a project on June 14th. I'm trying to remember if that's it.
That's sending bids out,
No,
receiving them back.
receiving them
I
back.
thought we had to give them a little extra time.
Yes, because KDOT was the holdout. We had to give the project another week. Opening, Wednesday, at 2 PM, yeah, for the manholes.
All right, anything else on water, wastewater? Parks and Rec? Cemetery and airport?
When is the taxiway, planning on?
Oh, it was in there
In this
somewhere in the
packet.
packet, I
In
read it.
Packet?
It is,
Shut
it's supposed
down
to
and-
start on June 10th,
Okay.
or July 10th, I'm sorry. And then it'll go 3 weeks you can't use it, 30 days you can, 2 weeks you can't
Right,
use
somebody
it,
asked
30
me.
days you can.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that I've informed everybody that has a hangar, and I called the hospital, and I sent a letter to the ambulance. It will not affect Lifestar, because they use a taxiway, not
The helipad, they use the helipad.
It won't affect the helicopter, but it'll affect the winged aircraft.
Yeah.
yes.
Fixed wing, yeah.
So I'm hoping, I've got a hold of everybody, if anybody knows anybody else, they can ask. or pass the word around.
Did you get a hold of Heinen Brothers?
Them I did not. I did Samonte and I did, who was the other one I did? Oh, Hank Brooker.
Cause I think Heinen Brothers, ever so often, they're up there.
Okay, I can get a hold of him.
They might do nitrogen here in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Actually, we filled the Heinen Brothers for that, when they did the air campaign down there. We filled them out here because it was big enough that they could come up here.
Okay, I will try to get a hold of them.
Anything else on cemetery and airport?
And emergency management on that one too.
Okay. Police and fire? Admin and finance? We did have a meeting here last week. Who wants to?
I mean, I felt like the meeting went well.
Mm.
I feel like most of the parties involved are going a different direction than was originally thought, but I think in the long run, it'll be great for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody will be under one?
No.
No.
Sorta,
I
kinda,
know.
Working
yeah.
towards that, but
Working towards that, but it's probably gonna be a lot.
right now it's gonna be Convention and Tourism and Chamber Main Street, right? Correct me if I'm wrong?
Yes.
Now they're gonna have a director.
Yes,
Well,
but
an event coordinator, which will kind of take
That's
over
a
the.
separate-
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a separate thing.
they're gonna, okay, so Stacy resigned. And so they have hired Wayne Cruzy as their interim tourism director till the 31st of December. They will take applications and go through the application process and make sure
Back
Wayne.
up just a second.
Not
You said
tourism director,
tourism.
it's Chamber Main Street.
Chamber Main Street.
Yeah,
Okay,
Chamber Main
okay.
Street and
That-
tourism.
Main Street.
Sorry,
And
sorry.
tourism.
And tourism, correct. So, and then they said, like I said, they said they would take applications. Try to find the best person, if it's not Wayne, whatever, so,
So we're still going for two different directors then?
no. He's gonna be Chamber Main Street and tourism, all in one, correct?
Eventually.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's happening right now.
Well,
No.
After the
He
6
is,
months.
he is
Right-
hired
right
as an
now,
interim
in the
chamber
interim,
in Main
yeah,
Street.
it's just chamber
Till
now.
December 31st.
Okay.
There are a lot of details to be
Yes.
worked out still, but tentatively, we have at least kind of a blueprint of how it may work, so.
And they have proposed paying for that, what was it,
I think it was 45,000 to come out of,
position?
convention
And
tourism.
then
We already
out of
contribute
convention and
20.
tourism funds.
Mm.
And then they're gonna pay $15,000 for his health insurance through Chamber Main Street funds. Correct?
Yeah, that's my
All my
understanding.
notes.
That was what, and he would be, the person would be a contract employee of the city next year, not in this 6 months interim, but in the next.
With potentially changing the contract at the end of the year to show that Chamber would be asking for less money for next year than what they do now, correct?
If we take over, if they don't have to do the
There's a
Kester block
lot of,
thing, there's a lot of
there's a
stuff.
lot of,
Variables.
yes,
Yes,
In play.
yep.
yes.
But they will bring back their contract
Yep.
to us,
Right.
both Chamber Main Street and,
And when we say the date, by November 1st?
No,
No, no.
August,
August, so
August
that it
something.
could be decided before
Right.
November.
but then it could be discussed and
Right.
hashed out till,
Instead of in November, December, or January
Yeah.
like they did the last time.
I thought it was a good meeting. I mean, there are a lot of things discussed, and it sounds like we got at least kind of a plan now
We
of how we'd
have-
like to see it work.
Chamber Main Street, Mandy was there, Rachel was there,
Mhm.
Jim Hull was there from Chamber Main Street, Bruce Durkeen was there,
From MCDC, and
Yeah.
then, Ally Argo
Ally.
came in
and
the end.
Ally Argo came. Because they're proposing an event coordinator to be paid $20,000 a year, with possibly Ally having that position.
She's gonna apply for it,
Yeah,
but it will go up for
yeah,
applications also.
yeah. So,
So, yeah, so we'll see what happens. Okay, that's kind of the whole gist of it, I guess, so. Next we move on, we don't have any appointments, city attorney's not here. We probably do need to go into executive session, for like property.
Property
Yeah.
acquisition. Oh. Let's give it 7 minutes.
Go like 15. I
Okay,
got something
fine.
I'd like to bring up too.
Okay, 15 minutes.
If we got time. Okay.
55.
55 roundup.
Okay.
I move the city recess into executive session for preliminary discussions relating to acquisition of real property pursuant to KSA 75-4319B6. This meeting will include the mayor, city council, city administrator. The open meeting will resume in the city council chamber at 8:55 PM.
Second.
All right, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Call this meeting back to order. No binding decisions were made on with the regular meeting. Roundtable. Todd?
I kind of touched on it earlier, when we were talking about the Kester block at the beginning of the meeting. I know the apartment is ready to be rented.
Rented.
It is rented?
It's rented.
When do they take?
Moved in.
Like the
Are you
3rd of
already in
June.
there?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're already in there.
Fantastic. Do we have them on a month-to-month annual lease? What's the lease?
Right now, it's just to the end of the year because that's what you guys instructed me to do when we did these.
And-
Because you wanted to talk about it.
Historically, was it annual?
Yeah, it's annual.
But we wanted them all to be at the same time
So we have a stop.
till December
That's-
31st.
Okay. Great. Have we had any interest in the restaurant?
No one's way early, there was someone from Concordia that wanted to come here and look at it, and then they never did.
Have we
They contacted a realtor here.
Have we officially or unofficially marketed it in any way?
Just, I mean, we did, not rent it, we put ads out there in various locations, at the very beginning.
How,
Not,
Haven't.
not for instance, or whatever.
how, I mean, and I have no specific anybody in mind, so bear that in mind when I say it, but how flexible are we with what people want to do with it? If somebody wanted to come in and do non-structural altering renovations, are we pretty open-minded? If they wanted basically a sweetheart deal, but they were gonna rehab it and preserve the history side of it?
I'm open to all proposals. I mean, we're open to all
So
proposals.
if somebody's got a proposal,
Yeah, sure.
present it to you
Yeah.
and then go from there?
Yep.
Okay, great. Only one more thing on the Kester block. There's that tree that went down a year ago in the storm in front and it still hasn't been replaced. Any idea when that's gonna happen?
If everything goes to plan, we'll have trees, in the fall, when they're dormant, when we can move.
Okay, so it's on the radar?
Yeah.
Okay. One more thing on the Kester block, not just sitting here thinking about it. There's the grease dumpster that was for the restaurant, which has now been closed for a while. Is there any way we can
Call them up
rid
and tell
ourselves
them to
of
go.
that?
Yeah,
their stuff.
that would be
Yeah.
good.
I mean, if they don't come and get it, I suppose we can just haul it off or let somebody haul it off. I don't know how that would work, but it does look kinda, I mean, you get the utility of when there's a restaurant, but now there's
How
a
does
park.
that work, Lori?
Darling?
Do you
It's
own
your-
it?
It is Darling.
No, you do not own it.
They
So
own it.
Darling should be
They
coming
own
to
it.
Yeah,
get
they
So
should
you
go
need to
get it.
call
We just
them,
need to
and then,
call
like,
them.
the last time we did it, they paid us for the grease that was in there, so.
I don't know if it's
That's
full
gonna
or
be
not. I
some
haven't
old
looked.
grease if there's anything in there.
Okay, and they are
They give you-
a company like out of Topeka or somewhere, or you can get?
There's a phone
not-
number on the side.
Des
Oh,
Moines?
okay,
Not
okay,
in
I just wondered how to
Topeka.
get a hold of
I
it.
don't think they're
Maybe Des Moines.
even anywhere close to here.
Okay, okay,
Cause you have to schedule a pickup and they
Yeah.
let you know in advance when they come in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we can figure out how to do it, that's
Yeah.
all I'm.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a number.
Yeah, it should be on the side.
How do they get them?
They bring them out in a pickup truck. They'd have to dump the grease and then send it, pick up the trailer out to clean it up.
Okay.
One more thing, back behind the businesses that front Broadway in the Kester block, I think the concrete back there's settled. There's like some old drain pipe stands sticking up out of the concrete
In the front?
in the back, in the alley, sticking up. And I know there's been some concern about cars and tires. My understanding is someone's lost their air dam to one by driving underneath the front of their car. By driving over it, so I don't know if we could have, I don't know if where that even falls under street or whatever, but if we need to get a torch down there and cut off some old cast iron
Say that was that?
behind, I'm not sure if it was exactly behind Reflections or behind one of the adjacent buildings, the Masonic Lodge. Is it the next one? Okay. I kind of knew what they were talking about when I got the call, but
Cast iron bottoms to the.
I think it was like an underground where the gutter used to
Used to
feed.
come out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trip hazard back here if you don't know it's there.
Is that why you know where it's at?
That's why I know where it's at.
And that's it. Okay.
Jeff?
I've spoke my mind.
Lori?
I got nothing.
Kyle?
Looks like they started pouring concrete on the north side of, the city park in that area, so it looks like that's,
Come along.
it's going
They
along,
went
it's looking
pouring
good.
down on Alston today.
No, they didn't.
They did?
They
Then
poured,
they
pulled
went-
my ADA ramps, they poured them today,
They
sometime when I was
probably tied that
gone.
in with that,
Yeah.
yeah, and just to fill trucks and send them, so, looks good.
Cool.
Perfect.
Nothing?
Yeah,
Kevin, yes?
we had the break-in up at the ballpark up there.
Yes.
How can we get some kind of a motion detector, camera, something, so if something does, like that happens again, we be notified right away? They tried to go in through the windows and they couldn't get in that way, so they went in through the back door there.
Okay.
Well, the problem with.
Ring cameras,
Huh?
ring cameras.
Well,
If we had Wi-Fi there, Wi-Fi cameras are cheap as dirt.
Oh, yeah. The ring camera.
Well,
set
can
up
you-
with
But-
solar and-
Can you Wi-Fi from the fire department?
You have to have a heck of a booster,
That'd be a
that would be a
good
stretch.
Hell of a booster.
But if you find one like that, let me know.
Yeah.
I didn't know how far they'd go, that's why I was
Yeah,
asking.
that's a long
You're
ways.
looking at a point-to-point, which that is what we paid to get up on the Wi-Fi from one tower to the next, for the antennas for
Pricey.
water meters.
Right.
They were kind of pricey.
There was a phone line in there at one time, is it still there?
They don't have it turned on because it's theirs to own.
You'd be better off with a really good high-resolution camera on the fire station, pointed at the building.
Even then, that's a, I mean, that's a
Even,
line.
even
line
though
of
that's not
sight.
gonna be, an instant gratification
No.
where you're gonna be able to
to
find
be able
it.
to know who it is.
Yeah. It's not gonna tell you the motion down there either,
No, it's,
what you're looking for.
you could have
I'm looking
motion
for something,
lights.
someone comes in there and they see a motion, something moving in there.
Right.
It'll,
Motion cameras are cheap.
That's
well,
what
that's what I
my
mean, but
ring
how do I
camera
get
does.
it from there to 911 center?
You have to
That's where,
Cell phones,
No.
that'd be expensive, cell plans
Well,
are
and,
expensive.
and the problem with a motion camera is you have to have whatever app you're using open. I mean, you can tell it an area to do the motion, but unless you're constantly looking at that, you're never gonna see it.
See, now, my ring will tell me
Yeah.
that there's motion,
And
and I can pull it up and watch you in my driveway live,
Yes, and it will.
putting in my mailbox or dumping my trash. I can see, my camera goes off and tells me when that happens.
And I have my Ring camera, and I have 2 cameras inside from when Fred was there. I could pull them up and look. But if you have your sound off or anything, you're never gonna hear that motion sensor detection. That's what I'm saying.
The root of it is we don't have internet down there.
Right.
And I don't know if it's worth,
Even if it's a dial, yeah, I would hesitate
Well, we've
to
had
dial
2
up.
incidences up there
Yeah.
in a short time. We had the deal back during flag football, during the middle of the day. And just a direction of where they went would have been nice.
Wasn't it everybody up there that day?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
they
it
did it while everybody was
Yeah,
playing on
so
the field,
I
but they
don't
didn't
know
even
what
have a
you was
direction
seeing.
of where they went. They finally ended up finding them, but they didn't even have a direction where they went. And then you've had this one, and it sounds like this one, from what I've gathered, they come across the Black Diamond from the lake area.
Oh,
And, so the other option is
so you're not gonna see them from the fire
And-
station.
okay, so when we did the lights at the Legion, we put in security lights. That's the other, there's an option there to start looking at. The fire station cameras would be nice if they worked. Most times, what is it, a power bump and they shut off and they gotta be reset?
It's been.
So they're really kind of a worthless item, because we don't know when the power bump's coming.
Right.
And
Wouldn't
part of where I'm
wouldn't
at
ups or
is-
something solve that?
just an
Or not?
idea,
It hasn't.
we
Has
have
an
that
ups in it.
company that
Keep
we've
it
hired to
fast enough.
do something. Why can't they look at it and give us an opinion? I'm not saying you move forward with anything, just get an opinion. And then we truly know.
Okay. So you wanna get an opinion from, Verkada?
Something.
Okay.
If we trust them
Oh,
to do the
yeah.
if we trust them to do the rest, why wouldn't we trust them
Yeah,
to
if we just
look
trusted
at
them for
this
the
at
police
least?
department, yeah.
And forgive me, because I haven't been by there at night to pay attention, how much light is on that building at night? Not much.
None.
Just the
Is there
little
a yard
bit that,
light?
just a little bit that comes out underneath the,
It's not much.
it's not much.
So that would be, I mean.
I'll tell you, I think those are still the old 30, 25, 30 watt incandescent.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
yeah,
LEDs.
There's not floodlighting
No.
that gets
No.
lit up where if somebody was walking around, you're
No.
driving by, you'd see them.
No.
And I don't know
No,
if
no.
that's the thing, if we put some
It's
motion
dark
detector.
down
It'd
there.
probably be a
lights
good, it'd probably be a good idea
Well,
just to increase
you're gonna have to-
lighting.
You're gonna have to keep this in mind too. I mean, a lot of the games out there, I mean, they're in the evening, and I don't know if people wanna be watching the game with a whole bunch of, and I don't go to ball games, I'm just saying, I don't know.
Oh, when the lights are on, that, you wouldn't
The lights that are right in front of them are gonna drown out the ones.
Yeah,
Drown out
you
that
wouldn't
behind
notice
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
security lighting. And it's-
Especially
that-
if you
that's
do
what I mean,
that,
that's
if we can do the building itself where it's all aimed down around the outside of it, just
Makes
to
it a
light
little less attractive,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, it'll make it more attractive.
And maybe go talk to Walmart about that too. Have you gone out there at night?
What's the deal?
Like at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night? I had to go get some milk the other night. Parking lot's completely dark.
I wondered about that.
It's weird.
I thought they had something wrong with their auto.
I don't know. It's just, it's weird.
Walmart controls,
From Bentonville?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would they shut the lights off?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Probably can
Completely
save-
dark parking lot.
Save $10,000 a day if you shut them at all the stores.
Well,
Oh, yeah, you would.
That's
You know,
be the guy talking about
easiest
more than that.
solution
Bean
would be to
counters.
put internet out at Ballpark
Mm-hmm.
with Blue Valley.
The easiest, yes, the cheapest probably.
Well, but that's just conversations to figure out what it's
But
gonna be, and
lights
then go
are
from there.
easy, motion
Well,
lights are
but-
easy.
And lighting
But-
wouldn't be bad to make it look a little bit
You
more
can get
aesthetic.
lights, you can set them on a timer with internet, you can have cameras with internet to record.
How many different unique Blue Valley connections ballpark do we have now with like water shop and cemetery?
40 or 50,
Do we get some sort of bulk discount?
no.
No, we get certain places for free.
What if we, I mean, they've been very good community helpers. What if we did some sort of deal with them where by trading that internet, we get to put up a internet provided by, I mean, just spitballing, if we already are throwing tons of money at them and it's not a huge thing, maybe it would be small potatoes to them. And we throw some advertising, de facto advertising their way. I'm not saying we name the park after anyone or anything.
You don't, and the nice part is you
Blue
don't need
Valley,
it,
Lakeview Park,
you really don't need it all.
nice ring to it.
all-
No,
during-
you don't need
just-
it
Yeah.
seasonally.
No.
And they could flip a switch at Home City and turn it on and off.
Flash Valley.
I mean, for that matter, I think they have a security division, do they not?
Yeah, they
Yes.
have cameras.
Legion
yeah.
uses
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they do.
Because they used to do our police station.
That's right. Forgot about that.
Thought,
Just another thought.
another
where-
thought.
You don't know where you're at if you don't go get a price.
That's right.
That's the simplest thing. And right now, I think the people that had their cards stolen and stuff like that, they'd be kinda happy to see that price right now.
Well, yeah, and if we had cameras and stuff too, I mean, I say this as somebody who got backed into in a parking lot this weekend, it'd be good for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone breaking into cars, et cetera, yeah.
See, I think people are still a little upset that the one happened during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why that
So
lot was full.
brazen,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was brave.
so.
Anything else?
Yeah. How we doing on the swimming pool?
Just
Are we
function.
holding somewhat water, or are we losing
it's
bunches of
leaking.
water, or is it fluctuating quite a bit, or?
It's losing a constant amount of water.
It is. Well, I know Tony said that we changed the filters twice a day, it seemed to help cut it down some.
I mean,
That's why I
you
was
could just
asked.
tell there is a stream coming. There's a stream coming down. I mean, they saw some of the numbers as they were coming in during the day, but I haven't gotten a full picture, especially, because we kind of change some things, every so often.
So we haven't found any soft spots yet. Haven't seen any water coming up through the concrete yet.
Yeah.
Just into the pit.
Yeah.
Feeding the old stream
If
bed
we,
underneath there.
Have we had any luck finding somebody to,
No,
Fix it once we get shut
I've gotta
down.
make a few more emails. I'm trying to talk to my, colleagues about who they use for certain things.
Did Clay Center find anybody?
I don't know if they found anybody, cause they kept calling, I had multiple conversations with them before the season started.
They still running theirs like ours?
I don't know, because they were just I think they were gonna run it, they just didn't know, they had some leaks going out, the outflow, when it was fully closed. And they think it's leaking in a different spot than ours is, but, yeah, they were on the hunt for a contractor as well.
So, I mean, if I have a leak and I fix it in my house, and then I have a leak somewhere else in my house and I fix it, at what point do I start going, you know, maybe I should just have all my plumbing replaced?
well,
And I don't,
It's an
I
option,
mean,
but
all maybe.
yeah.
I mean, at what point while we're
I don't know how much-
closed and what other potential, I mean, look at the high potentiality for leaks and just go ahead and proactively, otherwise it feels like we're gonna see this again next year in a new location.
I like Cindy's idea, build a splash park instead of a pool.
Oh, you're gonna get some kids not like that.
I know.
Well, the kids won't love it too, well, kids probably don't.
You just like, cause it doesn't require lifeguards.
Hey, but but then we have a new bathroom, already built.
I just know we,
Kids went.
And the worst part is that pool was not plumbed to the engineering that
Oh, no, it
was laid out.
no.
That's the worst part of it
When
all.
it sits 4 foot deeper than it used to.
Yeah, but
The old pool was almost level with the sidewalk.
I know.
And so lower it 4 foot closer to the creek that's underneath there
Underneath
that
of
we
it.
all know that's there. I mean,
Yep.
it just.
My guess, since I wasn't there when they designed it, is they designed it to match the front entrance to the,
I would agree with you, Austin.
yeah.
Yeah, but the plumbing underneath of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
still
cause
not-
everything says, it goes like
It goes
this, and but
straight east
Yeah.
and it doesn't.
Yeah.
so I'm just saying, when
It
we,
goes like,
to my eye, would
Yeah, it does a lot of that.
when we find somebody, I think we should find somebody to fix it, but we should also find somebody to fix the problems we haven't found yet. Like, I think that's probably, rather than we just wanted to fix it and then we say, actually, we want you to also excavate over here, and they go, oh, no, we're busy, we got another job. It feels like one project. Like, I don't want to have this conversation next year.
I don't know, but
You wanna tell them that, hey, show up for 3 days, but plan on a month.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm gonna go 3 months.
It may take them that long.
Yeah. Especially if we have to take off the whole top.
Oh, and then might as well call an electrician while we're at it.
I know, cause you're gonna cut all
well,
the
it's
way
gonna
through.
cut through a
all
lot
of
of
it
power
coming
lines.
That
There's
comes
a lot
up
of
with
stuff
concrete.
under there.
Yep.
Yeah, cause it
Yep.
comes up with concrete, yep.
So you may wanna cut them early, that way we don't yank them out of the box.
That's all I have, sir.
What a good one to leave us on.
Kevin,
Move to adjourn.
second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?